bags where horror lies.
Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name is James and I'm your Sunday night reviewer. And this evening I wanted to revisit a 2016 movie, I believe, A Dark Song, which is a British movie. I think it has it's got a Blu-ray release through IFC, I believe. And I think there's a German media book release of this movie as well. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty low budget movie, but it doesn't really have to have any budget to this at all. It runs very, very nicely. So basically we have two characters. We have Sophia, who is mourning the death of a child. Her 7-year-old was kidnapped and murdered. And she basically, she contacts someone called Solomon, who's within the world of the occult, and she wants to contact her guardian angel for them to speak to her son, basically. But going a very dark route of doing that, like I said, the occult, so it's kind of summoning demons and opening gateways to be able to do this communication. Solomon is very versed in this. He knows what he's doing, and it's basically a system that takes months to do. She rents this huge kind of mansion in Wales, and it's just the two of them there. So this Solomon, he's not a particularly nice guy. He's just a bit of a shit. He doesn't have any empathy. He's just like, this is a job, this is what I want to do. He's kind of pretty nasty and horrible to her, and she's been through a lot. I think we find out at one point when she's talking to her sister, like she's been in an institution and things like that. So she's pretty unstable and grieving a child, which is the worst thing you could possibly have to go through. So they're in this house, and so they're getting ready, and he's doing a salt circle around the whole property, and they're having a meal outside the night before, and he's like, look, when we're in, we're not going to see outside in nature at all or anything. We are just going to be stuck in this house for months doing these horrendous rituals. And it's going to be painful. You're going to suffer. Are you going to do everything? She's like, I will. So when he's outside, he's just checking. He's like, are you going to stick to this? She's like, yeah. So he seals them in. And then they start doing these. By the way, spoilers with this. I think it's just the easiest way to go through this movie. Sometimes I spoil movies, sometimes I don't, but I always like making mention of it, that this is going to be spoiler. So yeah, we're going through some pretty hard rituals. Like she has to at one point stare at a stone for like 2 days. She can't eat, she can't drink, she can't go to the bathroom. Make a point, it's showing that she pees herself at one point. She's like exhausted, and she's like having these kind of like cold water showers while in this kind of praying position. And yeah, it's kind of almost like a torture thing, but I think it's something that the body has to go through to break this kind of pain barrier kind of thing. But he has all these books, he's doing all these rituals, and it's kind of going through. Yeah, it's getting pretty tough. We start to find out bits and pieces. They start to slowly talk to each other, but he's not exactly mates with her and stuff like that. Yeah, there's one point where it's like that they'll have to have this ritualistic sex, and he basically makes her strip down, and then he just masturbates, and she's like, what the fuck? This wasn't part of the ritual. He's like, no, I've got my own needs. And so she's super pissed. And at one, she basically pisses in a cup and in the food and puts it in the food. So he's like, help yourself to your food. He doesn't know, obviously. But it's it's interesting. So this is going on for periods of time. It's like there's not so much happening. She doesn't think there's a lot happening. It's like it's slowly working. It takes a lot of time. But then it's like there's one point. It's like these gold leaf bits all falling down and like raining down on it. It's very, very cool looking scene. It looks really cool actually. But she's getting super angry And she's like super pissing. She's like, this just isn't working. And he's like, no, it's taking too long. And then he's getting furious. He's like, did you tell me the truth? Is this what you wanted? And she's like, no. And he's super fucked off at her. He's like, you've screwed this up. Because it's like, you haven't been honest. And it's like, maybe like things have to be done differently if you don't do things correct. Yeah, because already they've had to circumnavigate some of this, because she will not do this this what's the word, this ritual of forgiveness. She won't do it. She's like, I will not forgive these people. And so it's kind of linked to this. So she has to drink his blood, which is pretty, it's just as it is, and she keeps doing it. But then we get to the truth, and he gets it out of her. Solomon gets it out of Sophia. It's like she wants vengeance. And he's like, fuck. So that's a whole different new thing. So he wakes her up in the night. He's like, there's a new ritual we have to do. So he gets her in the bath. He's kind of dunking her in the water, and basically he drowns her. And then brings her back. And it's like, he's explaining, she's super pissed, obviously, at this. And he's like, you've touched the void. You are there. You have touched now. So now we are going to be able to make this link. And she's super pissed off. So they start, she kind of comes for him, and he falls on his kitchen knife. And he's like, this is a sign that it's working. And it kind of goes all the way through him. So he's pretty fucked up. They don't have any like medical equipment there. They can't leave to go to like the hospital or anything like that. So yeah, he's not doing so good. The wound kind of gets infected and that, but they're still doing the rituals. They're still going through things. She's starting to hear things and see things. Well, hear things. Oh yeah, she's hearing like that. Obviously, you'd imagine this, that you hear the kid's voice and stuff like that. But there's this one scene where she's in this dark room, and she's looking up, and someone's sat in a chair smoking. But she slowly walks over with the candle, and there's no one there, and the cigarette's sat on the table. There's only the two of them in the house. So that was a very cool scene. And she gets into bed with him. He's really not doing well, and he's like kind of crying. He wants to be. He misses his sister. She died or something. And then, well, sadly, he kind of wakes up in the morning and he's dead. He's died. The wound got infected, and he just passes away. So she goes to the books to kind of see if she can follow it by herself. And they've all been scribbled out. Someone scribbled everything out. So she's like, fuck, what can I do? So she leaves the house, she breaks the line, and she steps over, tries to go in the car, battery's dead. So she's walking for miles and miles and hours, and eventually comes, as you can guess, comes back around to the house. It's like she's locked to the house. So she goes back inside, and there's now demons in there and things like that, and they attack her, they kind of torture her, they cut her finger off, and she's just apologizing and saying sorry, and then they've dragged her into the basement at one point, and then there's this super bright light, and they go up there. And it's this huge angel, and the guardian angel. And he's there, and she asks for forgiveness. After all, not vengeance, forgiveness. And then, yeah, the guardian angel kind of smiles at this and grunts. So it gives her the power of kind of forgiveness. And then she does like a water ritual and sends Solomon into the lake. And then the car starts and she's driving. And you see this weird look on her face, you're like, oh, what's ahead? And this car drives past, and the ritual is complete. She's finished. And that was the movie. It's a very slow burn. You don't see so much kind of demon stuff and bits like that, but I mean there are things in there, but it's kind of, I love the build of this movie. And the characters are so engaging, and the acting, I like Solomon, he's great, and it's just a really engaging film. And like, you're kind of, the effectiveness of the atmosphere in there, it's really thick, like it's like this this mansion. Like, it's brilliant that they're living in, and all these rituals, they look fantastic. They're not over the top. I love that it takes months and months to do this, because in movies it's like you have stuff, it's like 20 minutes and it's done. It's like no, this shit takes months. And I really like that part of this, and like, well, how it all kind of unfolds at the end. It's like, you know, sometimes these films have a very dark ending, and you kind of like the dark ending to it. And when it's not so popular now as it used to be to have like a happy ending, and this kind of was a happy ending, but it fit really well. It did fit really well, and I highly recommend this movie. Yeah, I thought this one was great. But anyway, that's the end of the review. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you. Bye bye.